Good morning, Trevor. Good morning, listeners. It's lovely to be here with you this morning. Thanks be to God, there's a change in the temperature and things are a little warmer, and we can look forward to brighter times. This morning marks the death in 1972, the 11th of January 72, of an extraordinary man, Padraig Colum, playwright, novelist, poet, dramatist. Here is one of his little poems entitled A Cradle Song. And the scene is the child is going to sleep in the house, and the mother is putting him under the protection of the Blessed Virgin Mary as he drifts off into sleep. O men from the fields, come gently within. Tread softly, softly, O men coming in. Mavournin is going from me and from you, where Mary will fold him with mantle of blue. From reek of the smoke and cold of the floor and the peering of things across the half-door. O men of the fields, softly, softly come through. Mary puts round him her mantle of blue. Padraig Colum was born on the 8th of December in 1881 in Longford, the oldest of 8 children of Patrick Colum. He was called after his dad, but when he got involved with the Gaelic League, he changed his name to Pádraig. His dad was a master of Longford Workhouse and then station master in Santigove railway station near Dublin. And his mam was Susan McCormack from County Cavan. As I say, he was the eldest of 8 children, and he grew up in Dublin, received 8 years formal education at Glasstool National School, and then he had an examination for a clerkship in the Irish Railway Clearing House. It was during this time that he came to meet W.B. Yeats, A.E. Russell, Arthur Griffith, James Joyce, and started producing poems of his own in the publication The United Irishman. He produced plays which were put on in the Abbey. Padraig Colum felt in touch with the Irish Catholic peasant life. And his writings reflect that. They have a lyrical simplicity and clarity. One of his poems, The Old Woman of the Road, I learnt as a child in school, and it came up, one of the reasons why I'm talking about it this week is, came up talking to a family. We had a funeral lately, and a lovely lady has gone to God. But this was one of her favourite poems. And it's deceptively simple. He writes in a very simple style, but in touch with the pain of the dispossessed. And it's called An Old Woman of the Roads. Oh, to have a little house, to own the hearth and stool and all, the heaped up sods upon the fire, the pile of turf against the wall. To have a clock with weights and chains and pendulum swinging up and down, a dresser filled with shining delf, speckled and white and blue and brown. Oh, I could be busy all the day, cleaning and sweeping hearth and floor and fixing on their shelf again my white and blue and speckled store. I could be quite there at night beside the fire and by myself, sure of a bed and loath to leave the ticking clock and the shining delf. Ah, but I'm weary of mist and dark and roads where there's never a house or bush, and tired I am of bog and road and the crying wind and the lonesome hush. And I am praying to God on high, and I am praying him night and day for a little house, a house of my own, out of the winds and the rain's way. You know, as children learning that, we could not understand the pain of the dispossessed, but that in a beautiful way captures it and it stays with me. He would meet eventually in 1909 a lady called Mary Catherine Gunning, and she was a graduate of UCD. She was a critic and a suffragette, and they married in 1912. They had no children. He, around this time, would join the Irish Volunteers. But they sailed for America for a new life in 1914. And in America, he had some success with regard to writing novels for children and writing plays. And in 1916, he produced an anthology, The Poems of the Irish Revolutionary Brotherhood, in response to the Easter Rising. He would go on and he would have a successful career as a writer and a poet and a dramatist. In the 1930s, until 1933, Podrick and his wife Mary moved to live in France, and there they were good friends with James Joyce. They will eventually go back to the United States, and in 1945 he became an American citizen. He would move on to lecture at Columbia University and at the City College of New York. Porrick, in his life, wrote 61 books. The thing he's perhaps remembered for is something he gathered when he was working on folklore in Donegal. And that is, She Moved Through the Fair, which is one of the most haunting and beautiful pieces of music. My young love said to me, my mother won't mind, and my father won't slight you for your lack of kind. She stepped away from me, and this she did say, ah, it will not be long, love, till our wedding day. The beautiful She Moved Through the Fair is perhaps, in the end, his greatest gift to the Irish people. We remember Padraig Colum this morning, who died on this day in 1972. Ar yesh day go raibh a anam dílis. God bless, listeners. Thank you, Trevor. Have a good week. God bless.